I've got so many alerts. I must be able to look at the Twitch Prime loot page and let me know that some things are... Someone left messages on somebody's video. Oh, hello, Aussie. We got some people here already. Okay, so today, what actual publisher announced it? Who actually announced Dwarf Fortress becoming a sold game in the future? What's the actual studio that picked the publisher? Kit Fox Games? There's going to be a premium version of Dwarf Fortress coming, and I thought that would be an excellent reason to play the current Dwarf Fortress you can play, which is this one. I'm playing it through the Lazy Noob pack. Which one, though? Which one am I playing? The most recent version. Yes, various extenuating circumstances letting them finally get around to selling the game. That's fine, though. There's been a lot of games like that, sort of... Wait, is my mouse cursor showing up? It's not. It should. Capture cursor, please. Okay. Reminds me of ADOM, because ADOM was free for a very long time, and then had a paid version. Still released the free version, which I think is how Dwarf Fortress is going to go through, too. But anyways, I've already designed New World with advanced parameters. So we're going to play with those. We're going to play on Adelathria in Region 3. I did my special voodoo magic in the settings to try to make this world more interesting. Basically, I think the effects of what I've done has made it easier to get both volcanoes and flux-stone layers on the same tile. So we're going to play that. I did generated the world off stream because it takes about an hour to generate a world for if you go past 250 years. I generated this one with 325? Yeah. So it's granite and 325. It takes 15 days or so for our dwarves to get to whatever starting location we choose. I think this is a glorified loading screen. I'm glad everybody in the chat immediately gravitated to talking about downer things. I feel like that's on brand. Okay, here we are. This is the world map. You can use the arrow keys to move around. This little yellow X. You've got the local map on the far left, the region map on the middle, and the world map on the right. We have three sort of continents and an innermost sea. There's lots of volcanoes. I turned the volcanoes way up. That's what these little red carrots are. If I move here, this is a this is an island. The Ardent Fields of Autonomy, which is hot woodland vegetation. Bad thing about playing on islands, though, is if I press tab, our only neighbors are dwarves, which means we won't get elvish or human traders, and also won't get attacked by goblins, which will make things less interesting. Let's use F to find desired locations. I want to turn evil to low and savagery to high. And I want to turn Fluxstone layer to yes, and river to yes, and shallow and deep metals to both multiple. We're probably not going to find anything with the search parameters, but I want to try finding a good place with high savagery, because that will let us perhaps have unicorns as a creature we could encounter. And I have not farmed unicorns before, and I think that would be perhaps interesting. But we're going to do search, and it's going to search every tile on the world. Anywhere that's red is no. And it gets sort of scans. Dying to leopards does sound like a thing you could do in this game. I've never played adventure mode, actually. This game has both fortress mode and adventure mode. Apparently this game has gotten to 40% complete, which is incredible to me. I thought this game was like 10% complete. So the things I'm searching for below, I wanted high savagery, low evil, so we can have unicorns. The flexstone layer means that there'll be a layer that has either calcite, chalk, marble, or limestone, which are needed for the production of steel. River, I wanted a river for a water source. That's perhaps the least necessary. And shallow and deep metals means we'll have a lot of stuff to look at. So let's look and see what we got. It's a lot of flashing, so I guess if you don't like looking at the flashing things, look away. I'm looking for places with a volcano. Man, this is kind of hurting my eyes. I kind of wish it wasn't flashing. This makes it hard for me to look at what I'm looking for. Now, this has a river, but it's got no trees. This might be something. Nope, that's all mountains. Okay. Water we can get even if we... There's ways around getting water. Nope, that's a city. Okay. We might not have unicorns. Yeah, because all these volcanoes are in... All these volcanoes are like on islands and stuff. Well, let's look at these places that pass the mustard. Okay, let's do another search. And this time I'll set river to NA, and we'll just see what comes up. Because I can get water without a river. I just have to dig a well. And the music has decided to go away. So... if I was using Sound Descent, a program that adds more sound to the game, so that can add music to it, but instead I'll just go to a song that is a part of SoundSense and just play it on repeat because I like it a lot. I've been thinking about this song a lot. Okay, so we got some zones up here. We're by elves. Oh, and we're just so close to a volcano. Now, simple and clean isn't in SoundSense, Quark. It should be. We have a volcano here. There's no... Does this have flux layer? Oh, we got no flux layer by this volcano. Where's my cursor at? I can't see it. Okay. We got an ocean. We're by elves. None of these are joy... No, this is Joyous Wilds. Okay. Yeah, but it's the ocean. There's not gonna... Are there ocean unicorns? I don't think so. So yeah, unicorns only live on... Like where it says surroundings Joyous Wilds, that's where... That's good areas with high savagery. And that's where unicorns can live. But it seems like the Joyous Wilds here are the freaking oceans. Which... Oceans are a water source, but they have some logistical challenges. And these untamed wilds are just savage places without... So let's do another search, and this time we're just going to put these to NA. We're going to look for a river with shallow metals and deep metals and a fluxstone layer, and hopefully one of them will be on a volcano. You see that triangle? You can walk to that triangle. Okay, this should return a lot more places. I'm not very good at playing on evil maps, so I would maybe not want to do evil. But I would like to be invaded by goblins at some point. Otherwise, I just have to pick fights with the elves, or the humans, and the elves are not as interesting to fight. Plus, I would have to be the aggressor in that war, which, if I'm just doing that to have fun, that seems like kind of a mean thing to do. I see one volcano that might do just the trick. Where's my cursor at? I have trouble finding my cursor. So I go out into the ocean, and that shows me where that little yellow X is at. That volcano is in the middle of... That volcano is no good. So we're going to have to find ourselves another volcano. I love playing on volcanoes. That's why I'm looking for a volcano. Because volcanoes mean easy access to everybody's favorite juice. I could resize this area. Maybe just have a little corner peeking into that. Damn it, I keep doing that. Is there fluxstone here? Where's the fluxstone at here? It says this square has fluxstone on it. Up here. Now let's try this one. Well, I did it again. This claims to have a brook and a volcano in it. I don't want to get too crazy with the resize, because that will, that'll make it difficult to make the game lag. We got a brook, so we might have water here. But we have a volcano, we have little soil, which is not that big of an issue. We can solve soil issues. A clay, which is just as good as soil. Shallow metals, deep metals, and a flexstone layer. There might not be water on this embark, but I'll take it. Let's see who our neighbors are. We have dwarves, goblins, humans, and elves, and we're at war with the goblins, as always. And we can sort of pick our civilization. We have the damn it, I goobered it by pressing the wrong button. We can be the obscure banner, which are from that continent. We should probably start from a continent that we're settling on. So, the rumored Lancer and the obscure banner are both in the southern continent. The creations of knights are on the western continent, and the dipped flag is in the eastern continent. So we should probably go with the flag. So you've got clay, little soil, shallow metals, and deep metals, and a flexstone layer. And a volcano! So this should have lots of interesting things. We've got some trees, some other vegetation. Wood shouldn't be that much of a problem if we do have a volcano. So let's embark. Yeah, choose a smaller area if your experience lags. Well, that's a good way to put it. I'm just going to... There's a bunch of pre-made packs, and I've always just gone for this one. I don't agree with all of the stuff that's in this one, the easy start for new players. We'll be making some modifications to it. Especially, I don't like how it puts the miners as being like crafters and stuff, but it doesn't matter. So here's our guys, our people. Yeah, we should have a mix of masculine and feminine dwarves of different sexual orientations. The game does have that. There are heterosexual, gay, bisexual, and asexual dwarves. The game takes that into account. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove some of our animals. Like, I don't need 6 dogs. Or 7 dogs. We'll have 5 dogs. 3 female dogs, a male dog, and a male hunting dog. A breeding pair of cats, a breeding pair of sheep. We'll lose a chicken. And we'll lose a turkey. And that happens to be the exact amount of points I need to buy another pick. Because we're going to take my hunter, and we're going to just tell the hunter to not hunt, and instead join the mining crew. Let's name our group. What is our group actually called? We're called Nakuth Rarist, the Braided Rim. Let's see what else we can get. Tengakmeng, the Spotted Lash. Tulon Tithal. Oten Kosoth. Amet Thornil. Ginammerstem. Solon Bisol. Zavondusum. Erith Gomath. Oh no, the salve. The whips of safety, yeah. Here we go. I like this one. Hello, Mastazah. And Heterodromus. We're gonna be Torres Momus, the Greatest Crypt. Okay, we're done here. Let's embark. It's gonna take a while to load. Yeah, and the game immediately starts crashing, because that's what it does whenever it tries to load anything. I love this song. I first heard this song in a music pack for Stardew Valley, actually. And now the music's back so I can turn it off. It was this song and like a whole bunch of music from Lisa. You have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidden wilderness beyond, your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Bekarsalon. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, or hook, provide for your dwarves. You're expecting a supply caravan just after winter entombs you. Just before winter entombs you. Your dwarven caravans come in the autumn. But it is spring now. Enough time for you to delve secure lodgings ere the lions get hungry. We're in the savannah, so it picked a creature from the savannas. We might be able to train up some lions. At this place, Tito-Thiton Lone Hall. That's not what I named my group. Oh well. Let's embark. Might also turn the game down a little bit. Because, I love this song, but you're going to hear it a whole lot. Yeah, the Lisa music with Death Grips. I don't want to watch that stream, but I want to listen to that music. Yeah, Lone Hall is one of the more makes sensible titles for a Dwarven fortress. Usually it's like, well, the Whips of Mercy, or we all remember Boat Murdered. It's one of the more famous ones. But instead we have a Lone Hall, which is not going to be lonely if our fortress goes well. It might end up with like over 100 dwarves in it. You can leak it probably, unless you forgot. Well, try your hardest. The Tristram music from Diablo 1 would be appropriate to you, yeah. I think any of the Diablo 2 soundtrack would also work. Yeah, 100 is the loneliest number. Well, we might not get that far. We're going to start with 7. Our starting 7 dwarves are going to get to know each other pretty well. As soon as the game decides to load. It is not responding. That's normal, though. This game... Okay. We're going to pause. And then we're going to hit tab twice to get rid of that. And we're going to look at our map. Let's zoom out. So here is our map. This is one layer of it. If I press the up or down carrots, or brackets, I can move up or down. We can see this big volcano goes all the way. This volcano is really tall. Look how tall that volcano is. Somehow those obsidian walls have nothing to support them up here. But that's going to be a good source of lava. We'll make excellent use of. We might have to employ some weird tactics to actually get at the magma, because I don't want to go all the way up here to try to, and like build a scaffolding to try to pierce this magma safely. So we're going to have to deploy some tactics to breach the side of that lava tube. Well, we can see the map comes over here, and then suddenly it becomes flatter. And then we actually do have a source of water. If I scroll back in, we have a tiny bit of water up here, and I already can see that we have hematite, which is one of the ores of iron. And rock salt. Got fire clay, but a little bit of water. So I'm not going to be... That's all the water I have, though. And it's stagnant water, so we're going to have to... We're going to have to dig a well at some point. rock salt. I can already see some bituminous coal. No, lignite. Okay, not as good as coal. So we have a source of carbon and also sources of iron. That's 2 out of the 3 things we need to make steel. And we got tetrahedrite right here by the embark. That is copper and silver. Tetrahedrite is a very useful. So granite. We have some more cassiterite over here. So using cassiterite and tetrahedrite, we can make bronze. But there's not a real reason to make bronze if we can make iron. Because cassiterite is the ore for tin. We got some orthoclase. It's the yellow stone. This cobaltite. Yep, it's blue. Just more rock salt. Yeah, more rock salt. I don't know what the use for rock salt is. Let's zoom back out. So I'm quickly looking for any white stone I want to look at. That's more rock salt. Because all of the flux stones are white. Andesites, alanites. You're going to learn a lot of mineral names playing this game. But it looks like we don't have any flexstone yet. We have a flexstone layer somewhere. Let me zoom back in and we're fine at the default zoom level. You can tell when you're at the zoom level correct because the sprites stop being fuzzy. Okay. So, let's zoom back up here and look at some of the stuff over here. I guess for complete new people to the game, these are trees. We got oranges. Okay, if I zoom up, you can see their branches. It's kind of hard. The first thing to wrap your head around looking at this game is the game's actually in 3D. It's just you look at 2D slices of it at any given time. So like you see the game horizontally, and then the up and down arrows, or not up and down, the angle brackets. What are those keys actually called? Shift period and shift comma. Are those just called angle brackets? I don't know. Those go up and down a Z level. So if this is X and this is Y, this is Z. These little down pointing arrows are ramps. They're natural ways to get from this Z level to this Z level. As they just sort of connect the two. They're ramps. Greater than and less than. Yes, those are another terms for it. We have some vegetation. Prickleberries, one of the more common. Muskmelon vines. Muskmelons are cantaloupes. Winter melons. And bitter orange. We got oranges and bitter oranges. So we got some citrus here. I'm sort of just looking around here, looking at the different stone layers. We have some gold. Native gold. Gold is a little dangerous because gold has a very high value. So immediately mining a bunch of gold can attract unwanted visitors to your fort. We got this nice flat area up here with a lot of trees. Cashews, oranges. Okay, you don't understand the game at all? Okay, I'll explain excruciating detail, sure. I'm just kind of surveying my outpost here at first. We got some fire clay. I could potentially use that to make pottery, but I've never once done that. It just seems too complicated versus how good returns you get out of it. Okay, I'm not seeing any flux stone layers up here. Flux stone is one of the things you need to make steel out of iron. I'm just seeing more. That probably means our flexstone layer on this map is either messed up and selected an area that didn't have flexstone. You can check the VOD if you want to. Yeah, you only view the game in the 2D plane, but it's really in 3D. That is exactly it. You have some gemstones up here, though. What are these? Are these just garnets? Amethysts. Yeah. I'm going to press F1 and that defaults to take... It's a zooming hotkey, defaults to taking me here. And I see no reason not to just dig into this wall right here to get a place zoomed in. Here's our wagon. What we came here on. It's where all of our critters are hanging out on. Looks like our wagon was pulled by a team of horses. So we have 2 horses. I'm going to hit the U key to look at units. We can look at our dwarves. We have Munam Vushkubuk, our expedition leader. Stukos Dumaltar, one of our miners. Vabok Shoramstragoth, our woodcutter. Moril Febdeg, our mason. Rith Gosmerazir, who is a hunter, but I'm going to immediately make into a miner. Munam Rigor, a butcher, and Esteth Umamas, our planter. How are your dwarves looking mentally? Well, we can look at that. We can view unit. Let's look at our butcher. And owns 14 objects. We hit enter here. We will look at their thoughts and preferences. Okay, the quest for knowledge never ends, is what she says. She is an ardent worshipper of Asmite hags. She is a member of the Greatest Crypt. She arrived at Titothiton at the 15th of Granite in the year 235. She has short and well-defined muscles. Her slightly wide-set turquoise eyes are deeply sunken. You get extremely detailed descriptions of each dwarf. She has a clear voice. Her hair is extremely sparse. Her long hair is braided. Her nose bridge is slightly convex. Her hair is ecru, which I believe is a like light brownish color. You did get flex zone. That probably means that you have a marble layer deep down for digging for marble. Yeah. Minam Rigor likes native silver, iron, indigo, tourmaline, green glass, green devourer leather, rope reed paper, short swords, slabs, cavies, or guinea pigs, for their 3 toes, the words of the angelic healer, and the sounds of the Song of Bewildering. She likes confusing music. I know that feeling. When possible, she prefers to consume pond grabber, single-grain wheat beer, and hazelnuts. She absolutely detests rats. She dreams of making a great discovery, but she's kind of scatterbrained. She very easily falls into love and develops positive feelings. She doesn't seek out excitement. So it just goes on and on and on for these dwarves. I want to look at units, because I want to see... Okay, there's no other creatures nearby. I wanted to see if there were lions around. Did we get a breeding pair of horses? Nope, we got two male horses. Okay. Means we might slaughter one of them and try to import a mare. Is there non-native silver? Yes. Actually, we're actually right next to non-native silver. This tetrahedrite is a silver copper ore. Okay, let's go to the other part of the game, which is this. This is a program that comes with a Lazy Noob pack. Virtually everybody who plays Dwarf Fortress uses this. It's called Dwarf Therapist. It's a way of managing... You can do everything that Dwarf Therapist does in the game, almost. But this program makes it much easier to manage your dwarves. So I hit the connect button, and here's all of our dwarves. Now we're going to make a quick stop in the Dwarf Therapist, just to quickly go to my hunter, and remove hunting from Rith Gossamer. You can also look at Rith Gossamer here. She's 63 years old, and she's a skilled crossbowman. Does not easily fall in love, is often cheerful, doesn't handle stress well. Well, that's sad. Her being a skilled crossbow person means that I was going to put her in my military, but you don't want to put dwarves who don't handle stress well into the military, because they'll see one of their friends get murdered and then immediately fall into depressive episodes. But she's going to be one of our miners. Actually, wow, we've got 7 ladies and 1 man. Although Stukos is bisexual. Although all of the rest of the ladies are straight, so I guess it's lucky to be at Tesh. He's the last dwarven male in the fortress. Is he the expedition leader too? No, he's our farmer. Okay. If he was going to be making our beer, he was already going to be popular. Well, I'm going to hit the commit button so that I don't have anybody hunting. For one, there's no animals here, so hunting wouldn't be very fruitful in the first place. But also, I don't like having hunting or fishing enabled on my dwarves. It just means they get caught out in the rain, which makes them very sad. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the D button, which brings up the designations menu. And designations are how you tell your dwarves to do most of the things you want them to do. Mining, channeling, digging stairs, gathering trees, chopping wood. And we are going to tell them to dig, which is D again. We're going to chop out a section. One quick thing is if you press Shift and then you move the arrow keys, you move in blocks of 11. It's actually very useful. We're just going to have them dig in to the mountainside real quick. And dig some up-down stairs. One mistake I always make is making my fortress centered around a single staircase column, which, while very efficient, is not very secure. It means if anything gets to those center staircase column, they can basically get anywhere into your fort. So we're going to tell our miners to do that. And then we're going to hit T, which is for chopping wood. And we're going to have our woodcutter chop these trees down. Just these ones at first. And to give our farmer something to do, I'm going to hit P for gather plants. And tell them to gather these plants. What kind of plants are we gathering? Got rye. Want some rye? Of course you do. Prickleberries, which are sort of low value. Longland grass. Looks like, yeah, we could also gather, you can set a zone around these trees to gather the fruit they produce, like these bitter oranges and finger limes and macadamia nuts, but it's just very low return, and we need the wood. So let's hit space. Our hunter immediately cancels picking up their crossbow and goes and picks up the extra pick. We struck Cassiterite, which is the ore for tin. I don't know why that didn't reveal these squares, since that was an up-down square I dug. But that's okay. I want to go down another... Okay, what I'm going to do here is I want to dig a up-down... I'm going to dig upstairs here, which is U. And that'll connect these stairs that I dug here with these stairs here. These ones only go up, which will connect these up-down stairs. And actually, we'll dig some downstairs here. We'll make a little corridor here. And then dig some downstairs here. I'll go up downstairs here. And I'll hit the Z buttons to go down 5 or 6 layers. And that'll give me this little buffer zone, which will be a little inefficient, but I can set up some extra defenses here. Let's watch our dwarves go. They're digging out these stairs from below. I want to get into the stone, because I prefer stone layers. We found a lot of gemstones. And we have a lot of clay. which isn't terrible, but you really want to have your living quarters and stuff dug into stone. And the reason why will come up later. The clay should be fine for... our cats are following us. You can see the cats winking in. Native copper. So we're going to have a lot of copper. I'm just kind of going down as my dwarves dig down, just to kind of poke around what we have. This is still microline, right? Nope, we're into rock salt now. Yeah, gneiss. Okay, there might be marble on this layer. Marble and gneiss can occur in the same spots. Okay, so we've quickly dug out... I dug out here just to have this... to, like, unlock this area for us to use for something. For some of our chickens. Oh, and our other dwarves are busy gathering plants. They've already chopped down all those trees, but we'll need that wood. Let's go ahead. Ah, TK Cat. I'll reveal my secret to you. Yes, there's magma around. Because I picked a volcano. And I edited the world generation rules so that it would be much more likely for there to be... So there's going to be flexstone layer, but there is a flexstone layer somewhere, but I did embark on a volcano. So yeah, we have magma. So, I'm going to go down one more layer, and this is going to be our workshop area. And one thing I usually do is just quickly designate. I'm using the shift and arrow keys to sort of form the natural dig distance is one shift and arrow key distance, which is this. Moves them that sort of distance. It is worthwhile to go with advanced world parameters. That's what it's usually very, very hard to get a volcano on the same tile as Flexstone layer, which is why but I did that. I managed to make a world that could make that possible by messing with the advanced world parameters. There's a lot of stuff, but it can be very fun. So we're going to dig out some areas here, and instead of doing one area like this, we're going to make a square and then go up 2 and right 2. And the reason why is if I space this right, we should have, yeah. I want to have 9 workshops in this little place. Or no, 8 workshops and a stair. So. This is the kind of shape that I want out of this. There we go. Yeah, this is the 3 room. Yeah, our D6s. And we're going to... I always have to do this to find the center. Yeah, here we go. We're going to dig some downstairs in the centers here. I'm using X to remove designation. And I'm just doing it so that I can see where the center of these squares is at. I'm sure if you have a better eye for balance than me, you can just, like, see it. But I don't want to goof it up. And it's very easy to do this, and then just... I'm going to refill in those squares. And I'm hitting J for downstairs, which will connect... yeah, this one should just be spaced. Did I do that right? I think so. Yeah. So let's fill in these areas again. And this will be my workshops area. We're not going to dig it out yet, though. I'm just sort of planning for it. And then the area below it. And actually, I should start planning my metal forging area. Which means I'm going to need another offshoot. Probably here. So that... Okay. And there's going to be a reason for this. It's because I want... I might as well... Actually, I won't need all of this. Okay. And the reason for this is where our magma workshops are going to be. The workshops that require the use of magma. Which means below this, we're going to need a cistern. So, like these 9 spots all need to have magma underneath them. Which means, yeah, I want this spot to be filled with magma, although I don't need all of these spaces to have magma, but it's just as easy to dig that out. So this needs to be filled with magma, which means I'm going to have to channel it from here to here. And I think it would be best to do it like this. Although, yeah, one more thing I want to do. This is a trick you can do to eliminate, if you force a fluid to flow diagonally, it, which that won't quite do it. Can I get an infeed of 3? I'm doing some advanced planning here. Yeah, that is kind of a ways from the volcano. That's why I need 3. This might be obstructive later. It might mean I dug my place in the wrong place. Like, maybe I should just dig a new entrance spot. Which means all this work I did was for nothing. I don't want to be too close to the volcano is the thing. But this is kind of far for the magma to float. It will take a long time to get to the cistern. Let's look at my main chamber. If I just dig into this wall here, that could also work. I could just sort of have this shaft as a something. Okay, let's take a look. If I dig in here, like that, What does this look like? I might actually be able to use these. Screw it. I don't want to redig all this stuff, so we're just going to have a big long... We're just going to have a long magma cistern. But I do want it to... somewhere near here. Flow diagonally. Actually, I can actually do this. And the reason you want it to flow diagonally is so that it'll remove the pressure, because there's going to be magma flowing through this volcano that's coming from above, and the game does simulate gravitational forces. So the lava going down this tube will have force behind it, but when it meets this mesh of angles down here, it'll sort of slow it down and remove the pressure from it. But we're not going to do this for a while, so I can just sort of leave this here. Yeah, like a baffle. A lava baffle. Yes, it's from physics. Yes, this game has some interesting physics to it. But then we're going to go down here. And this will be our storeroom, where we store all of our garbage. And I'm going to... Now I won't toggle. I'll remove this designation, so we don't dig this yet. And then this floor... I'm going to put another hallway here. Just so that I can isolate this main part of the fortress again. I don't know when the first creature I'll throw into lava. I've been playing for almost an hour yet, and my dwarves have barely moved. Okay, so this will be our main area for. This is going to be where our dining hall is at, basically. So this is going to be the zone that the dwarves like the most, and may as well just put that here. I want to do this actually. Yeah, this. And we'll give it some highfalutin little, just to break up the, not that. When you first make your first fortress, there's going to be a lot of just square shapes. And it can be a little more visually interesting if you do stuff like this. Like, this will be our dining hall. I want to move this down a little bit, actually. I've gotten burned in the past by not having any buffer zone between your main staircase and your main residential areas. It means some troglodytes get up to your main staircase and suddenly there's havoc everywhere. Probably not in a month. It might take a few years for the goblins to show up, but once the goblins show up, they will definitely be, they shall definitely be thrown in lava. Okay. And then here... this is going to be a... this is going to be a place where we keep our booze. So it's going to be next to our dining room. And this will be where I keep my cooked food. I'm going to try something this time. I'm wanting to try to keep my dwarves from refusing to eat the cooked food I make them. So the actual food stockpile is going to be somewhere else, but the pantry for cooked food is going to be right by the dining hall. So maybe dwarves will eat the cooked food before they just go to gnaw on raw mushrooms. Speaking of... I can put a little... this needs to be sized differently, or... there's going to be some workshops in here. Yeah, so I'll make it this size. Can I make this highfalutin too? How big is this? 9 by 9. I can do that. Just to keep it from being a random square in my sea of... what do you even call this? It's like kind of like parapets. It'll also give a little bit of extra room. Hey, it even lines up. How nice. This will be where the kitchens and distilleries are. Crenellations. That's way too fancy, so it's obviously correct. And here is actually where... I think I'll keep the chickens here. This will be our birdhouse. Because one of the main ingredients to all of the food we cook is just going to be eggs. Because we're going to have hundreds of them. They're not quite buttressing anything, so I wouldn't call them buttresses. So you've got our food stock, our prepared meal stockpile, our booze stockpile, our kitchen and distillery, and our dining hall. And can I get a little stairway? Yeah, leading up here. because in this layer that's clay, I'm pretty sure there's clay over here, we can grow food. So this will actually be where our farms are at. So it's not at all what I wanted. There we go. Is that right? And that's right. Which means okay. Okay. So this is where our farms will be. We're even right by the surface, so that'll actually be okay. I'm going to hit resume. And our little dwarves will come down here to begin digging out our living quarters. And I'm probably going to build, like, around this area, I'll make like a little stopgap measure. Like a little raising gate that I can raise if I suspect something has gotten to the central staircase. So there's our little hunter, is Rith, the hunter who I forced to be a miner. You can see our cat running through. The cat's AI gets them to just trace the interior of wherever you dig. Up, Rith is no longer a hunter, but became a miner. We're going to basically force the cats to live here, in the kitchens and the stockpiles, in order to oh, he struck native copper down here. That'll be useful. Because the cat's main job is going to be killing vermin that attack our food stockpiles. They can cause food to rot. Hit F1 to go back up to the gate. I'm going to actually... Ah! We got mountain goats and a mongoose. Here's the mountain goats up here. Not actually goats. Medium-sized herbivore that lives in the high mountains, able to navigate slopes despite its hooved feet. His hair is white, his skin is burnt amber, his eyes are black. Is this a breeding pair? No, two billies. And a mongoose. Very small mammal with short legs and long tail. It hunts small animals to eat. Yeah. Well, those aren't very scary animals. The mountain goats will probably run away from us if approached, and the mongoose might scare some of our dwarves. And it might attack our chickens, so we'll try to get our chickens inside when we can. You can see our cats have already drawn first blood by killing this hamster. They're digging out the dining hall. After they dig this spot out, I'm going to have them go dig up my workshop area. What is most of this? Is most of this rock salt? Yeah, we've got lots of salt. We're going to be salty. Our miners are working away, becoming better and better at their little jobs. Oh no, we had the Cat Lord draw vengeance. I don't actually know if you can cook with rock salt. I'll look that up. Much like Adom, the Dwarf Fortress Wiki is a wonderful tool. Does not seem that you can cook with rock salt in this game. We stuck kaolinite, which is valuable for pottery if we ever want to do that. Somebody needs a bucket. I don't know who they're giving water to. Probably one of the animals. We'll make some buckets soon. That is one thing I'll have to do, is find a way to get water. Because we don't have enough water to get by. That murky pool might actually... Let me actually look. I'll hit the Z button to go to our stocks menus and go to our kitchen. Yeah, we have a fair amount of booze, so I don't know why they're making water. And dipshit just came and left his bucket in the middle of our storeroom. Speaking of, here's a trick that I'm going to need to do, so I might as well do it now. I hit pause. We're going to look at Dwarf Therapist for a moment. Going to look at our miners. I'm going to select them. I was hitting the Windows key rather than Control. And we're going to turn off hauling for them. This will keep them from taking their breaks to go haul crap. I'll keep them on levers. And then I'm going to go to everybody. And I'm going to turn architecture on for everyone. That'll allow them to build buildings. Later, I might turn architecture off if I get a master architect, but I've never seen much reason not to just have architecture on everybody. It makes buildings go by. Okay. Because we're going to be using these rooms as storerooms, we don't want them to have random crap just laying around. It'll take up spots where we want to store stuff. So I'm going to hit I. And I is the key that you hit for zones. And we're going to make a new activity zone here. One tile. Or hit D to say this is a garbage dump. So if I order anything to be dumped, that's where they're going to dump it at. Then I'm going to hit D, B. So hit D goes to designations. B goes to set building item property. And we're going to hit D again for dump items. And I'm going to tell them to dump all of this stuff. Anything that's highlighted in purple will get dumped. So, that's going to cause my inactive dwarves to come in here and start hauling these stones into that little one square tile. And I'll eventually tell them to stop. I'll eventually reclaim those items so that we can use them. But clear up the stock rooms. Our cats are just exploring, as cats are wont to do. Should probably dig this out here. Just to get our farm set up. We probably have plenty of food. Sort of breaks the symmetry of the room a little bit, but that's fine. To this day, I don't know what causes the priority of where the dwarves decide to dig first. They seem to just dig willy-nilly. Well, you can manually say, you can designate which areas they should dig first, but when they're all the same priority, I don't know what causes them to decide to dig this tile or decide to dig that tile. Like, why is this one digging over here and not over here? Like, I don't... It causes them to sometimes make very odd switchbacks, where they'll go like, they'll start digging over here and then go dig over here, and then dig back over here after digging one square over here. And look at what they're digging up here. Indeed, they found mostly clay, which is good. Also going to order these items dumped. See our cat. Because that's going to be a stockpile up there too. Okay, our hen house is complete. So I'm going to hit I again. Because the other kind of zone I can set up is... This is an important one. Is Inn. Inn is for pen and pasture. And if I hit Shift N, I can select which of my livestock I want to have in here. We want to have all of our hens. And our ducks. And our turkeys. That will, okay, yeah. We're also going to dump this lone stone here. Okay, that'll clean that up. Now it's time to start mining again. And this will start working on our workshops area. I don't really need to do more than these, but I like the symmetry. Okay. Our stumpies should get right to work. Don't actually know what my miners are doing right now. They're getting to work. Booze does not require water to make, no. Unlike real life, they will just... all they need is the plant material. One of my farmers is just sleeping. They'll get a little grumpy being forced to sleep on the floor, but they'll rough it for a little while before they get too upset by it. Looks like we have some more plants up here. There's more winter melons. Struck lignite. Yep. Actually, I think she's... No, that was he. Yeah, that was our farmer. Our farmer's the only man around. Okay, just 3 women sleeping in a hen house with a bunch of birds around them. May as well hit build and then plot. And we'll use this to build our first farm. I think I actually want to build it down here. As the farm's up here, we're going to be using to grow above ground crops, but the farms down here we're going to use to farm below ground crops. And we're also just going to dump that. I should actually look. Fire clay floor. Okay. You can build farms on clay and sand and soil. To farm on rock, you have to do irrigation. Okay, they stopped sleeping in the hen house, and they're putting our chickens in there. The reason our chickens are fine living underground... Yep, that's what I thought would happen. Because there were gemstones laying on top of the farm plot, they didn't build it. but now that they're moved, they will. Yeah. There's two different kinds of livestock you can have. There's livestock that requires pasture. They require food to eat. And then there's everything else. Chickens, turkeys, and ducks somehow subsist off nothing to eat. So they don't need, they can live inside. Our horses and lambs, or sheep, they need pasture, which means for now they're going to have to live outside. And our cats have killed a lot of hamsters. Is that just hamsters they've killed? Nope, they've killed some toads, a lizard, and a hamster. Okay. All these small vermin. And we're digging out our workshop areas. Horses are ruminants. They have the multi-chambered stomach. They chew their cud. Unlike a cow, they will die if they eat anything they shouldn't. Because horses are not designed to live. They're designed to die and then to kill. Actually, I should very quickly remove designation. For these zones. That'll save me a little bit of pain if my dwarves goof up somehow. Yeah, horses will occasionally eat. Really, a lot of animals will just occasionally eat small critters. I've seen cows eat grasshoppers before. And we all know that if a horse once tastes the flesh of a man, it'll go mad. Just to dig in our warehouse, or workshop areas. One thing I can do is start doing this. I want to build some bridges. And I want to set them to raise. I can set this here. The wagon's in the way, so we'll build this one here. It'll raise upwards. And bridges are rarely actually used to bridge gaps in this game. They're mostly used as drawbridges or for crushing devices. We're going to build this one out of orthoclase, which means it'll be a big yellow bridge. Give our mason something to do. And I'm also going to build one here. Yeah. This building one here is just a little nervous of me, but I don't hate being nervous. Actually, no, I'm not going to build this one. Not yet, at least. So. There's our mason building this bridge. Now that indoor bridge might be, the purpose of that one might be to insulate my dwarves from the downstairs. Which I think is not necessary. They're digging away. Means that I can start getting to work. Go to build. hit B, hit W for workshop. And one of the most important workshops we have is the Mason's Workshop. I'll go ahead and set it up here. You make it out of rock salt. Build another workshop. We'll build a carpenter's workshop. We'll build that one down here. Okay. Let's start getting... I want to tell them to make 4 tables and 4 chairs. And I want to tell you to make some beds. Oh, that guy's going for a drink. Whenever you see a dwarf with a blue down arrow, it means they're thirsty. They're coming back to the wagon to drink the booze we have. What's that? Honeybees. Useful. Actually not. You can do bee stuff in the game. It's very weird and inefficient and costly and complicated. So it's like most of the industries in the game, but not particularly worthwhile to explore the honey industry. We can make honey, which we can turn into mead, which is a low-value alcohol. The dwarves don't produce it. Although the value of alcohol is not actually very important. The most important thing for your alcohol is that you have multiple varieties of it. Speaking of, I should check on my farm. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tell this farm to farm plump helmets. I'm going to pause. And we're going to make our first stockpile. We're going to hit the S button. No, we're not going to do that. A P. P for stockpile. And we're going to hit F for food. And we're going to mark this little area out here. And I'm going to hit pile X to get rid of the pile on the stairs. This is going to be a food stockpile, but it's going to be a stockpile not for all food. I'm going to go here to the menu. And we're going to turn off everything except seeds. And this means this will be a stockpile just for seeds. Stockpile Patamus. Yeah, that's exactly right. So they'll keep the seeds for the farms right next to here. Which means I might also... Oh, it's summer. It says summer has arrived on the calendar because that must mean that the climate we live in doesn't have strong seasons. It must stay warm year-round here. We do have a calendar. Well, theoretically. I don't know if the dwarves brought one with them or not. I assume they did, because it's weird what things the game... Also, the game's auto-saving, which means it's going to lag out. So I have time to talk about how it's weird what the game decides to abstract and what the game decides needs to be extremely defined. You can have a bookkeeper to keep track of your items, which is very good. You should do bookkeepings in the game. But you don't actually need books for bookkeeping. All you need for bookkeeping is a chair and a desk or a table, and that's all your bookkeeper needs to keep the books, is just a table and a chair. But the game also has books in it, which are a recent, semi-recent addition to the game. I say recent, but it's been like 5 years, I think. So you can make and write and read books. Your dwarves want books to read. but your bookkeeper doesn't need any books or paper or anything, or even any writing implements to do anything. Yeah, maybe they engrave the bookkeepings in the table. Maybe they just need a place to sit and concentrate as they do all the mental math. Okay. Turns out we're also going to tell them to grow plump helmets in the summer. One thing I want to avoid... I'm going to build another plot, actually. Is I don't want to overload on plump helmets. We're going to come down here. I'm going to build a table. Let's see how many tables I have. Okay. So I told them to set up some tables and chairs here in the what's going to be the dining room. I'm going to need so many doors. We're going to make this our dining room soon. One thing I should also do is hit I and then X to remove that dump. And then we're going to hit D, B, C to reclaim items. So now we have all of this stuff sitting here. Before it was forbidden, like if it's in these brackets, that means the dwarves will not touch or move those items. But if I unforbid them, we'll use them again. When you set an item to be dumped, it automatically is forbidden. And using dumps to store many items in one square is actually very useful. It's something called quantum stockpiling. So, let's make a dining room. See, if I don't have doors, the dining room area spills out. So I'm going to need some doors. I can cheat, kind of, but... I'll just make 6 doors real quickish. Forbidden microlane. Okay, so they've planted our plump helmets. I need to get brewing soon. Okay. Now, it's going to be time to dig this out. Okay. This is going to be our storage room. So I made it big. This is where we store all of our crap. And I saved it for last because now our dwarves have become better miners. One of them is actually... 2 of them are actually already level 10. Looking at Dwarf Therapist. So this should be mined out relatively quickly. If I can set up some doors here, I should be able to set this as our dining room. Yeah, here we go. It's going to be our meeting hall. I'll set yes. So this is where our dwarves will mill about when they're not doing anything. We're going to go up here to the wagon, and we're going to remove it. That'll destroy the wagon. But I need to set up a new activity zone. And I'll just, for now, just set it to be this. To pen and pasture our stuff. The reason being that if the ewe and ram and our horses just hang out in the meeting hall all day, they'll starve to death. And here's a neat trick I can actually do. We're going to set up 3 little pastures here. And we're going to set some dogs. Here. Actually, no, I won't do this yet. I'll do this when I get some puppies. I want my dogs all together so that they'll breed. Yeah, I'm going to set up guard dogs at the entrance of our gate. That'll keep any kobold thieves from coming in. Oh no, look at these. We have my most hated livestock. Guinea pigs. Yes, President Ark, that is a issue. It's impossible to keep elephants alive because they can't eat fast enough to sustain their bodies. There's actually a setting in the game where you can change that ratio to make them sustainable. Okay. I'm going to hit Z and look at kitchen. I want to see what kind of seeds I have. Cave wheat. Okay, so I can grow cave wheat. And this one is going to mostly grow plump helmets. I don't want to overload on plump helmets, which is very easy to do. You can end up with more plump helmets than you know what to do with, and it ends up overtaking your fortress. Okay, let's do our another stockpile. Let's pause first. Pause food. And this is going to be our booze stockpile. So I'm going to turn off all the kinds of food except for drinks, plant, and drink animal. So mead and beer. And I'm going to make another stockpile for finished goods. And this one is only going to accept goblets. Because now dwarves require... They get unhappy if they're forced to drink without a cup or mug. So it makes sense to keep cups and mugs by the booze. So we're going to build a workshop in still. I know that one. That one's L. L for still. Right, we have this. Yeah, I may as well just stick it like here. Stick it in the corner. And we're also going to build a kitchen. We're not going to use it yet. Make it out of salt. It'll season all of the food for us. Speaking of, time to make another activity zone. And we're just going to set it to cover this area. And then remove the... There's going to be another zone in the inn, so I want to not have the inn be in this zone. I'm going to remove another layer from that. Dang it. Okay. And I'll go ahead and keep it in the kitchen area. So this is going to be a pen and pasture. We're going to stick our cats in there, because that's where we're going to be keeping some food. can see the dwarves bringing the cats in, telling them to live here now. If I want to have multiple food stockpiles, I'll hopefully get some cats. In fact, I'll do this. I want to put a pile... Actually, I need to pause first. Always pause before you make piles that you're going to change the settings for. Because your dwarves will instantly begin hauling stuff to the pile, and then they'll... Like, I don't want any seeds in this pile, so... my dwarves are getting hungry, or getting sleepy again. Okay. Somebody's already put some food in the... What food did they put in the stockpile? Some blood amaranth leaves. Our stockpile coming along. Blood leaves. Kinda wish I had another miner. I'm used to having legendary miners, which mine do this stuff like butter, but these guys are just starting out. And your mines kind of start slow, your force kind of starts slow if you, What are those? Winter melons. Okay, the melons are growing. Your force kind of starts slow if you take the time to sort of plan them out. If you just go willy-nilly, they start quickly, but then you run into some logistical problems. The one problem that I already have to solve soon is I need to find a cavern so that I can tap a well, and that's going to have some challenges into it. Because as our murky pool up here drowned away... Nope. Oh, that's important. I saw you. Come on, where are you at? I saw a turtle. We got aardvarks, wombats, and a Tearsal peregrine. No lions yet. Having a source of turtles is important because getting a source of shells is important. Shells are almost impossible to get. I'm a huge dumbass. I should, We're gonna do this temporarily. I built beds and then forgot to deploy them. Shells. But yeah, you need shells in case one of your stumpies decides they really want to make an artifact using shells, which you otherwise can't get. It's really hard to get shells. Okay, we're gonna do this real quick. So we're going to set up a quick dormitory here, so that my stumpies will stop sleeping on the floor, because that'll give them sad thoughts. My guys are already running out of things to do, so I want to quick set up another zone here as a dump. And we're going to tell them to dump all of this stuff. That's not what I meant at all. Well, that was a silly mistake to make. That's fine. Not actually a mistake. Just means I have to redo this. Yeah, and I didn't do anything important here. Okay. DB dump, not DD. DD is dig. DBD is dump. Because this is gonna be a stockpile room, so I want all these tiles to be clear. So Everybody needs to start hauling stone into this one square by the staircase. Ooh, start with crayfish because they have shells. Starting with food that has shells is a good idea. Turtles is another good one. For some reason, cave lobster, which you can get on any map, don't have shells, which I think if I made a change, there'd be many changes you could maybe make to this game. But maybe making cave lobsters have shells, or just having animals you bought from merchants have shells. Maybe just have elven merchants sometimes have shells would be not a bad idea. Yeah, the soft cave lobster. Yeah, quantum stockpiles you have to do by hand. You can't set them to use wheelbarrows, sadly. Okay. We're gonna need more tables. And we're gonna need more doors. I was gonna set door on repeat with R. And I'm also going to make a bunch of beds. And then a bunch of wooden bins. And that's going to be what those guys do. And I'm also going to build workshop mechanic. I have a mechanic shop. Mechanics are important. And a crafts dwarf shop. So when they get some more workshops built up. So our next big project is, after we get this spot mined out, I'm going to turn hauling back on for the miners, because we need to get this room cleaned up. Yeah, mechanisms. Generic term for anything that moves, basically. We're going to need one to make this drawbridgeable. Which is lucky, we could be attacked by werebeasts at any moment. Miners have almost finished doing this. The rest of my people doing this stuff. Migrants already. Oh, man, I don't have anything set up. Where are they even at? Wait, what are you? Ori marmots. Yeah. So our hunters would have something to hunt if they were so inclined. Well, the migrants will mean that more people will come to haul this stone around. How many migrants did we get? 7. Let's look back at Dwarf Therapist. I've got them sorted by migration wave. Here's our original guys. You can see we've already got some master miners and some expert miner. And they're happy because they've been digging a lot. When they get high skills, that makes them happy. Miners are like usually your happiest people. And our new people are a stonecrafter, which is not that useful because we already have one. Although having a stonecrafter that's also not our mason will be good. We got a potter, that's almost worthless. A farmer, who is worse at farming than our farmer is. So I'm going to set you to do all of the butchery stuff. Oh, we got a legendary woodcrafter, which again is kind of sad because, let's turn you off. You rarely ever do wood crafting, so that's a little bit sad. A clothier and a gem setter. Gonna sort of do that. So we didn't get anybody exceptionally useful. We got some great... We got people who are masters or legendary at skills that are not very good. Wood is a kind of valuable resource, so you don't really want to make crafts out of it. I usually turn fishing off, but because it's not going to rain here very much, you can go fish then. Oh. And they're all men. Okay. The gray ones mean they're asexual. Everybody is represented in the Dwarf Fortress, kind of, if you're a dwarf. Which I might turn you off stone crafting and just have you be my new stone crafter. Okay. The migrant's most important job is going to be hauling crap around. Which means I don't have to stick my miners on digging anymore. I think what I want to do... I'm going to dig that square out. And I want to set this square to be channeled instead of dug. And what channeling will do is means that they dig down and they'll dig down into this level. And it'll form a ramp. And it means that they can start digging this out. Okay. Although these spaces were just to help me math out where I needed dug. So they might as well just dig all of it out. That's not exactly what I wanted them to do. I will need eventually just need a hole there. So it's not a terrible thing. This little dot here is a hole. But I kind of wanted them... I'll do this. And then down here, I'll remove that designation. There we go. Monam Regor has become a carpenter. How nice for them. Okay. And that'll make this little ramp here connect this with this. And I'm going to come remove this designation. Because I'm going to have to re-look up how to breach magma. It involves bridges somehow. And maybe that'll be what we end the stream on, is getting our magma set up. Yeah, bridges are very magic. You can use bridges to make something called a Dwarven Atom Smasher, because any object and almost any creature that is placed underneath a bridge when the bridge is lowered will become crushed by it. Damn it, they did the thing again. I need to build a... Okay, we're going to go build. Going to hit C. Oh no, what do we need? Okay, build, Shift C. That brings us to, what does it build Shift-C do? I don't actually see it here, yeah. Wall, floor, stairs, track. And we're going to build a ramp. And I'm going to turn all of the labors on for my dwarves. Or what are these two dwarves? Stukos and Monam. Stukos and Monam have to get their labors turned on. So if I switch back over to the dwarf therapist, we're going to find Stukos and Monam. Turn on all of this stuff. We're also going to turn on masonry for them, just in case they need that too. That's going to be temporary, because they've dug themselves into a situation they can no longer dig themselves out of. I'm actually going to cancel their current digs so that they will build that ramp. Okay. Now they should be able to get in and out. If not, I'll have to dig a slight... Let me remember to turn their stuff off. Okay, they should be able to get in and out now. Yeah. Because they have that ramp. One way that I'll know is if I go D and X to remove designation. If after this they just leave... Nope. Okay, they're dumbasses. I'm going to have to save them. So we're going to go D2, and then we're going to remove designation. Or no, remove construction. Where is it? N. We're going to remove that. We're going to dig an upstair. Just here. Or no, we'll do it here. Alright, so this is going to be digging upstairs, and this will be digging a downstairs. And now they can get in and out. Okay. Your dwarves are very stupid, and they can and will dig themselves into impossible situations if you let them. And the mason comes down here to remove that construction because the dwarves won't. Or the miners won't. Don't think ramps work right unless they're up against a wall. That's probably correct. That's probably why the channeled holes fell out. I think I'm going to temporarily build some floors over these holes. We're going to need those holes, but they'll keep lava from doing nasty things. Okay, they've almost gotten rid of all of this stuff. So I'm going to start making my piles. Wood. We're going to need a big old wood stockpile. Furniture. We're going to need a gigantic furniture stockpile. We're going to need a finished goods stockpile. We're going to get a gem stockpile. This one will keep them busy at first, so we don't want to make it too big. We're going to need a very big bar and block stockpile. And this is actually a great place to put it. Did I do a finished goods? I think I did. Need a cloth stockpile. This one doesn't have to be very big. Leather stockpile. Did I make a furniture stockpile? Yes, I made a big one. Okay. We're going to make a little refuse stockpile, but we're going to restrict what it can allow. This is not the best place for weapons and armor. But we're going to move these into future, so they can exist here for now. Speaking of refuse, you have to change the settings on these to disallow remains. So we just want skulls, bones, teeth, shells. They want this stuff. Because our crafters could potentially want this stuff, but this stuff rots. Speaking of, I'm going to come out here, set up another refuse stockpile, and we'll put it over here. And this one is only going to be corpses and body parts. We don't want fresh raw hides in there. Actually, dang it. Fuck it, I'll just do this. I think that was my first swear of the stream, so this is no longer family friendly. I get the 1, that makes it PG-13. Moonstone. I can evolve my Eevees now. Not my Eevees. My Clefairy. And my Jigglypuff. Okay, now I have to look up how to breach lava. Okay, we're gonna pause. Oh no, I might have to look at a tutorial video. I know it involves bridges. I'm also going to have to find some magma-safe materials to make some of the mechanisms I need. not seeing any... I'm not seeing, not finding the especially easy to comprehend guides that I'm used to. They all use ASCII, which is hard for me to parse visually. We could do the more traditional method of lava tapping. This is the exciting part of the stream where I'm looking up how to do this. Yeah, the old-fashioned way is just to take one of my useless migrants I just got, give them a pick, disable mining on everyone else, have them pop a hole in the wall of the volcano, and then have them immediately go do something else, and see if they outrun the lava. Yeah. Okay. Let's begin. Let's see if my monkey brain can comprehend how to do this. One immediate thing I want to do is go to db forbid. That is, forbid all this stuff. Because the last thing you need is, when your lava channel is filling up, is for dwarves to come in here collecting stones and gemstones. Okay. First, dig out your magma tunnel to feed your magma. Then you channel a trench against the pipe. Okay, so we're going to go dig H. We want to channel this out. Build a magma-safe bridge over it. Well, let's look. Is diorite magma-safe? Not magma safe. What stone do I have that is magma state? Safe. The only obsidian is actually in the... We're going to need a lot of magma safe stone, actually. Yeah, granite isn't magma safe either. I don't think orthoclase is. No, orthoclase is. Okay. So I'm actually going to need to unforbid some of this orthoclase. Yeah. Actually, what that might mean... No, I'm going to be swimming in orthoclase. I don't need that. Okay. Surprised orthoclase is magma safe. Yeah, we're doing the core right now. Screw you for making me think of that movie. Okay. Then you channel a trench against the pipe. Build a magma-safe bridge over the trench, making sure to cover it completely. So, orthoclase. Let's see who comes and builds this bridge. I might have to go pause my... Yeah. Stop building doors. Oh, there's that guy. Hauling down that orthoclase. You can lead a dwarf. I haven't looked at the chat in a hot minute, so I'm missing all these excellent jokes. There's obsidian on the chute. There's no obsidian around the chute, which is obsidian would be magma safe, even though what is and is not magma safe in this game is just kind of arbitrary. Like glass is magma safe, despite glass having very low melting point. How's this project coming along? We have lots of doors. How many beds? You're still working on bins? Okay, we don't need any more bins. What's my mason doing? Dwarf therapist says my mason is storing item in stockpile. Okay. Let's turn off all of the hauling labors. Except for construction and deconstruction. Oh, somebody brought a duck with them, and it grew up into a drake. Okay. Okay, building the bridge. Okay. Rough orthoclase bridge is covering the whole channel. Then seal off access to the magma tunnel. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait for this guy to get out. And we actually need some stuff before I can seal off access to the magma tunnel. We're going to need 3 floodgates. And they're going to be made out of orthoclase. And we're going to need 3 grates, also made out of orthoclase. Not door. And then we're going to need the mechanics workshop. We're going to have to make some orthoclase mechanisms. I'll just make a passel of them. Okay, and I kind of want this done soon, so we're going to go to whoever my mechanic is, which I think actually is my miner. So let's find a new person to be a mechanic who has a worthless job. Our master stonecraft, or crappy stonecrafter we just got. I'm going to temporarily turn off everything for them, and then turn them into a mechanic. I don't know if pottery is magma safe. Kaolinite might actually be magma safe. Yeah, kaolinite's magma safe, and I've got plenty of that too. But orthoclase is cheap, and I've already got a fair amount, so... Oh, I almost forgot. We need brew drink from plant. Because I forget booze all the time. Yeah, we're out of booze. So that's important that I remembered that, or else we would be sad. Okay. Our mechanics and stuff are at work. Yep, and our farmer is getting to the still to start making booze, because I forgot. Don't want our dwarves to get thirsty. I'm reminded. I need to build a workshop out here. A fishery. If I'm going to have fish, then my guy who's fishing will need a place to process the fish he's fishing. I usually just don't bother with fishing, but since there's no real danger... Yeah, the most dangerous animal here are guinea pigs, so... At least until the lions... Oh, it's raining? The dry season has come. That means I'm going to have to build a trade depot. I have little to trade right now, but I still need a depot. Because it's autumn. I'm probably just going to build my first trade depot outside. Love that long autosave. Man, I said I was going to end the stream on breaching the magma, because I didn't think it would take that long. But then I had to go look up how to do that. I could do some kiln stuff, because I've got all this kaolinite, which is a valuable stone. Because you can make it into porcelain. It's funny, Kaolinite is magma safe, but as soon as you turn it into porcelain, the porcelain is not magma safe. Okay. We're going to build capital D for depot. And we're just going to stick it out here for now. Because the Dwarven caravan is going to come soon. Okay. We are almost done building our grates and mechanisms. We got 4 mechanisms. They're a nice yellow color because of the orthoclase. Okay. And one thing we're going to do is we're going to build T lever. And we're going to build a lever in our... place I like to build levers is actually in my dining room, because there's always people faffing about in the dining room. And somebody brought an animal that's starving, so... the pig actually doesn't have to go outside, so the pig can stay inside. But that yak calf is going to starve if they leave it in D. Okay. Mason's workshop is done with its jobs, so we can go down here. And we're going to build wall grates. And the reason you want to build grates is to keep any nasties from coming through the magma. And it's not a perfect solution. Very, very rarely a nasty could come out of the magma. But we're just going to pretend that they won't. Okay. And now we're going to build some floodgates. We have to put the grates on the opposite side of the floodgate, because floodgates are impassable. That dwarf is weak, the one who's carrying the extra floodgate. You can tell because they're slow compared to the others. Ah, excellent. Cancelled, built the floodgate. Okay. Because there was a rock there. Oh, they got the storeroom cleaned up, though. I mean, somebody should come remove this. I ordered that rock to be dumped. There we go. So now they're going to come finish building this floodgate. Okay. So now we can come here and go to this lever that I built. And we're going to link these up to floodgates. And I'm actually going to need some more mechanisms. Okay. I feel like this happened the last time I streamed this game. is that things took longer than I expected them to. So the mechanics coming down here, setting up, using the mechanisms to combine. While that's going on, let's build some more tables. Get our little party hall going. Because the dwarves will get mad if they don't have enough chairs to sit down and eat at. Yeah, I've also been digging in a lot of stone. If I had used these layers to do my stuff in, where it's clay, that'd have gone faster. I have no cave wheat seeds. Okay. Link up with Floodgate. Okay. Let's go ahead and name that lever, by the way. You should name your levers using Control-N, so you know what the heck they are. We're going to name this Lava Control. And then after they're finished connecting the floodgate up, so now they're going to... Okay. So that's done. Which means we need to build a wall or a floor. To block this off. So I want nobody getting down here anymore. Okay, so now all of this is inaccessible. Which means it's time to finally breach this magma. So we're going to dig this, and then we're going to dig an upstairs. Now we're going to dig some up-down stairs. What's the least stupid way of accessing this magma? The least obstructive way? Probably going all the way up, actually. So this might seem a bit silly, but this will obstruct the least amount of area. Yep, the Dwarven caravan has arrived. We have nothing to trade, so we're not going to be able to get much out of this caravan. I might try going to my crafts dwarf and just making rock crafts on repeat, and going to my crafts dwarf, whoever my highest level stone crafter is. Or whatever. It'll be I'll train with this guy. And we'll just have him make some rock crafts real quick, and before the caravan leaves, here they come. Before they leave, we should try... Ooh, there's some wild yaks over here. We should try catching some of them at some point. Yeah, they'll stay here for an amount of time. Yeah, they're going to discuss our situation. I don't actually... We'll read this later. What do you request of our merchants? I always request leather, cloth, and cloth at first. Because that's the stuff I have the hardest time producing. I'm also going to request... some flux stone in case I don't have an easy time finding flux stone. It seems like the flux stone our guys have at home is limestone and marble. So we're gonna maybe regret ordering mindstone and marble, but that'll be fine. I could also get some horses. Don't know how to request animals, though. Ah, here we go. Horse female. So we're done with that. Okay. Here's the stuff we'll ask for. Here's what they want. They really want handwear, and powders, and windows, and crutches, and armor, and drinks, and tan hides, and splints. Man, they need powder, thread, crutches, and splints. They need to set up a hospital, sounds like. Is the war going with the goblins going badly? Who knows? But they'll stick around at the depot for a while. Okay. So they dug the channel. And they dug the secret staircase. This is my favorite movie. We tell them to dig this. And apparently they can dig that from down here and be completely safe. Some migrants arrived. Excellent. Not actually excellent. Are they just not going to dig these ones out? Maybe not. Nope, they are. Okay. So the floodgates are currently up, so they're not going to... actually, one thing I should do. This floor is not magma safe. So I should remove this construction and then build an orthoclase floor over it. And he's taking his time. Let's watch the magma. Magma flows slowly, so having a wide feeding channel like this is actually a fairly good way of keeping the lava from being too slow. Okay. Orthoclase. We want this to be an orthoclase floor because it's magma safe. And now we're going to dig out some more stuff here. I'll just dig out this for now. Because I want to get some little offices set up. A little fancy looking. Because I want to have a manager and a... Because I want to have I want to have a manager and a bookkeeper now that we have some extra migrants to work with. And this will set up to be our temple, which is another popular area that the dwarves will constantly be wasting time at. Okay. We'll begin mining that out. Here comes our magma. Let's also go ahead and get some more wood chopped. Yeah, why isn't the fishing guy done that yet? I don't know. Our next big thing we're going to need to do is start building... Yeah, I want to get this build out. Then our next project will be to get the sleeping quarters settled. So, while that magma fills out, I can go ahead and do it here, I think. You sort of plan this out. I have a specific rubric that I copied at some point that I enjoy visually and also as a how efficient it is. So I need I think it was this much. I think it's 17 squares. We'll see if it maths out correctly. Nope, that was... Probably needs to be this. Yeah. I should know right away if this works or not. That's 5, and I need 6. Not that. Okay. Because... if I did this correctly... This should be equidistant. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Yep. 2, 3, 4. And one thing you can do is if you hit Shift M, you can designate stuff as markers, which turn it blue. And that means they won't actually dig it out yet. They'll dig it out afterwards. But this is a very efficient and pleasing bedroom setup that does everything you need it to. Because dwarves are not humans, they do not mind having long, straight apartments. So they'll be happy with their bed and their cabinet and their coffer all in a line. $50,000 plump helmets for sale. What is my guy actually making crafts? He is. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to move any crafts we have. We're going to go to our noble screen through N and set up our broker. Appears to be this guy. No, this guy. This guy's great, because the skill you want for brokers is Judge of Intent. That's the most important one. Yeah, this is the... He's a negotiator, a conversationalist, and a Judge of Intent. So we're gonna set this guy to be our broker. And request the broker. Let's see what we can skim off with the few crafts I managed to make. The magma continues to flow. Magma moves really slowly. Oh god. Oh no, he got possessed? That's sad. Possessed is the worst kind of Fey mood, because it means that he won't become a legendary skilled mason. Oh, but at least he didn't go crazy though, so we're going to get an artifact. He just... There's a few different kinds of Fey moods that your dwarves can have. And possessed is the worst one. Well, maybe not. There's a special kind that can only happen, fell moods, that can only happen when they're heavily depressed. And what they tend to do when they go into fell moods is grab the nearest dwarf and murder them, and then craft something out of the dwarven skin and bones. So it looks like he's making something out of magnetite and kaolinite, maybe. It's time to pull the lever. The floodgates have been opened. Up, okay. Moril Fedbeg Mason has created Engrir Torish, the lignite cabinet. She claims it as a family heirloom. Well, because that was a possessed Fey mood, she is not a legendary mason. Although for all the work she's going to be doing for us, she is going to eventually become a legendary mason. Let's take a look at it, though. How do I get to artifacts again? There's a button on this screen right here. L. It is a lignite cabinet. All Crafts Dwarf ship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with cushion hematite cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of hematite. On the item is an image of a square-cut gem in lignite. There's not actually a gem on it, just an image of a square-cut gem in it, in coal. Well, obviously what we're going to do is we're going to build a cabinet, and we're going to build it right here, so that when our dwarves go to eat, they'll pass by this artifact cabinet and be able to admire it. There's the magma slowly seeping through our baffle. So now dwarves, as they go to eat, will get happy thoughts as they pass by this artifact. Let's go here, and we picked up some more stuff that needs to be pastured, including this guinea pig. Guinea pigs require pasture to live or they'll die. Actually, one of the reasons they're worthless is you can't butcher them for any meat. They only produce a skull. They need food to live, and people just love them as pets. I don't know why. Well, we're not going to be able to get much out of this trade. 70 dwarf bucks worth of stuff. I'll be lucky if I can buy... Here's some books. They've written on this a small manual entitled Unusual Animals, authored by Nilo Learned Mothers. It concerns the classifications of creatures by their physical features. The writing is quite touching. Overall, the prose is not awful, but not very good either. Can I get any seeds? That's about all I can hope to get. But this much. No, but I can buy some thread. Which, when I build a hospital, I'll need some thread. Oh, this is bad. Okay. We got attacked by Gila monster. So we're gonna have to. We're just gonna have to hope against hope. It's time to do a new feature. We're going to set. We're going to. Is it H? No. W. We're going to make a burrow. And this is going to restrict our dwarf's movements. And I'm really upset that I didn't get that bridge in the inside done yet. Okay, we're going to name this burrow inside. Now we're going to hit M for military. We're going to go to A to alerts. And we're going to C add alerts. And we're going to name this alert Siege. Okay. And so whenever I hit this, whenever I go to the siege alert, all of my dwarves are going to be coming down here. Everybody will run away, and hopefully okay, no trader requested at depot. So here's what I'm gonna hope happens. The Gila monster, there he is, he's attacking my horses. The trade depot, the traders brought a whole bunch of bodyguards with them. And I'm just going to let them kill the Gila monsters. And I'm getting a lot of message spams. Okay, looks like they killed it. Oh no, wagon is listed as missing. the wagon we came in on is listed as missing. Oh no, our fishery worker got murdered. Okay, so the human werebeast is dead. One of the mercenaries for the trading depot got killed. The wagon is missing in action. Our stray yak calf is missing. One of our least useful dwarves got murdered, and we lost one of our horses. And there's just bones everywhere. Man, look how many teeth that yak had! There's just yak teeth everywhere. How many teeth can one yak have? I'm Googling it. Google. How many teeth do yak have? 32. They have 32 teeth. Also, here's a fun thing. All the stuff of that guy who got murdered, they're ours now. So we get some bronze stuff. Okay, so we go to military and alerts, and we go to inactive. And our mason has a new job. We're going to have to build some coffins. But our magma's coming along. Okay. Let's build some more mechanisms. Because we're going to need this main drawbridge. We're going to need this drawbridge set up to... what is that? Oh, that's the llama. It's just sitting there. Okay. So we actually got quite lucky. Werebeasts are actually a pretty... What are all these guys doing? Oh, they're coming to fetch the corpse of the fisherman who got murdered. Oh no, they're not fetching him first. First they're fetching his belongings. Okay. So we're actually kind of lucky that we got attacked and only lost a Fisher Dwarf. Only that the merchants were actually here with their badasses to kill the werebeast for us. And also that nobody survived, because if we had a were-Gila monster... Okay. The last thing we're going to do, we're going to go to Nobles, is we need a manager. Who's going to be our manager? Let's find a useless person who happens to be good at manager. Yes, we're going to look for... Bebum Zimdusum. You're going to be our manager. I need some tables, but first I'm going to need a coffin. Okay. Where am I going to put this coffin at? Usually I dig mausoleums out. I know where. We're going to stick a coffin in here. You're going to be by the heart of our industry. An assault coffin. It's kind of out of the way. I'm not going to bury the spear dwarf, but I will bury the fisher dwarf. Okay, when this magma level gets to 4, we can stop filling the chamber, which is going to take a while. And I think that's actually a fairly exciting spot to... Actually, what is that? Okay. So it should be... Okay, now corpses should go here. Yeah, they should haul corpses to the refuse pile. So, getting use out of our refuse pile right away. Okay. So, our magma is in the tube. We're going to have our magma set up soon, which means we're going to be able to start making iron things. Our next goal will be to start getting our... My next main thing I want to do is to get my manager and bookkeeper set up. And we're going to have to start working on building beds and doors so that we can start working on our living quarters, because all we have right now is a dormitory with 5 beds in it, which is not very much. Means that a lot of dwarves are going to be sleeping on the ground and they're going to get unhappy, which is bad. You don't want your dwarves to get unhappy, because once one dwarf gets unhappy, suddenly all of your dwarves are going to get unhappy. They call it a tantrum spiral. Now, I'm just going to quickly... No, not that. Designate this. And here's why I like this, That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, as I thought. Yeah, this is a very space-efficient bedroom design. Plus, it's easy to do. Also, you can dig out this spot so that Ta-da. So that'll be what our dwarves do next, is dig this spot out. Houses almost 100 dwarves. I think it's 86. We're going to... first goals. We're going to get our manager and our bookkeeper up and going. We're going to make our temple. We need to make more tables and chairs. We need to start getting a crafts dwarf making stone barrels, stone pots. I want to get a cook going, and I want to have this stockpile here be just for cooked foods, which means I probably want to put my food stockpile up here, actually, away from the hungry mouths of the dwarves so that they will just eat cooked food. Although, maybe not at first, because when you cook foods, you don't get seeds from it. So maybe that'll be what I do on my 3rd year, is move my food stockpiles. So we're going to get our manager and bookkeeper set up. We're going to start getting our forge going, and we need to start... Once we get our manager in place, we're going to be able to start streamlining our production greatly. But for now, I think that's going to be it. We ended on something exciting. We lost a useless dwarf, and were saved by our brave merchants. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks everybody for joining. Don't do this one. Do this one. We're going to save the game. It takes a long time. Notice, it takes a long time when it auto-saves. Doesn't take such a long time when it manually saves. Don't know when I'll get around to streaming this again. Probably at some point. But for now, we get to the splash screen, I can actually say good night, but for now I can't. There it goes. Now it's finishing. Again, the game's lagging. Dwarf therapist fails to find. Histories of greed and metal. And good night, everybody.